Right now we're cruising down the Black River on the Fever 2 with skipper David Thompson, taking in some of the sights on family night, which has gotten to be quite a tradition on the boat night weekend. Thursday night is family night, and quite a few people come down to the river to check out the boats. Okay, we're on board the boat Prime right now with one of the sailors who will be in the race on Saturday. Your name, sir?
I'm Bill Campbell. They call me Soup.
Call you Soup. Right. Now, how many times have you been in the Port Huron to Mackinaw race?
Oh, I think I've been at least 15.
Okay, and other races also? What else have you raced in?
I've raced over 30 Chicago Macs. I've raced over in Sardinia and the Mediterranean for 2 years, raced over to England, raced from Buenos Aires to Rio, sailed a boat across the ocean, raced a circuit down in Florida probably 15 or 20 times, so I've been around.
It sounds like it. So you sailed across the ocean. How long did that take you to do, and what size craft were you in then?
It was called a Swan 65 feet, and it took us about 3 weeks, if I remember right.
A crew of how many on that?
There were 7.
Oh, that sounds like quite an adventure anyway. So you said you're from St. Joseph, Michigan, is that right?
That is correct.
So where did you get started in sailing?
Oh, when I was a kid. I started when I was around 9 years old and just kept doing it, and I'm retired now and I'm still doing it. So.
Oh, sounds like fun. What's your best finish in any race, and then in the Port Huron to Mackinaw race in particular also?
Well, in the Chicago Mac race, I've been on boats that have won 3 times. I've got 2 seconds here on a boat called Zoo, which is one of the smallest boats. I've raced with him 4 times, if I remember right. I raced on an old boat here called Gypsy, that's many years ago. But I sort of lose track.
How many races do you usually run during a summer?
Well, it depends. Well, we sail local races, and that's every week, 2 a week, and then we race long distance races. So how many weeks are there? It's about twice, I guess.
So you're busy every weekend in the summer,
That's
I take it.
Right.
Okay, well, good luck on Saturday, and thanks for talking with us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, why don't you tell us the name of the boat we're on and your name?
The name of the boat is the Colonia. It's Ron Holland 47, and my name is Scott Laramie. I'm out of Detroit.
Okay, have you sailed in the Port Huron to Mackinaw race in the past?
This will be my 5th one.
Okay, how have you done in the past?
From 3rd to dead last. So it all depends on the wind and the boat you're on at the time.
Okay, has it been on this boat in the past, or is this the first time you're on this one?
This is first year on this boat. I came on board with a new owner on this boat here.
Okay. I understand the boat says Norfolk, Virginia. We were looking at that earlier. What is that? Obviously the boat, you're not from Norfolk. Why is it Norfolk, Virginia? Well,
the boat was originally out of Norfolk, Virginia, but with the new owners, they kept the registry from Norfolk.
I see we're getting a little wet from the other revelers here this evening. Everyone's keeping in pretty good spirits. How do you expect to do this year?
Well, it really depends on the wind. Chicago Mackinaw was a record-setting race. We were 26th boat across the line, and where we ended up was 122nd in the fleet. It all depends on the time. If it goes on the head, I think we have a real good chance of winning it.
Okay, and what division does this boat compete in?
It's IMS, which is International Measurement System 1. Yeah.
Now, I understand there's two different divisions, the IMS and the IOR, is that correct?
Right.
What's the difference between those two?
Oh, it's a different way of considering the measurement of the boats. The IOR is called the International Offshore Racing System of Measurement. The IMS is now taking into consideration the winds and some different aspects of the boat as far as age and whatnot. We can do a little better in IMS with our rating with an older boat. Also, the way that it's figured out, the age of the boat is really a big thing these days. The newer the boat, the more technology's into it, and the more power into it.
Okay, well, thanks for being with us, and try to stay dry over here, and good luck on Saturday.
It's going to be a rough feat staying dry over here, I think, on the outside.
I think you're right, okay. You're not kidding. Okay, we're on board the boat Dorothy Gale, and why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Tim Willing from Rochester, New York.
I'm Henry Williams from Rochester, New York.
And I'm Keith Smith from Hampton, Connecticut.
Okay, so we've got some out-of-towners here, and you guys, I understand, we're in the Chicago to Mackinaw race. How'd you do in that?
We could have done better. Let's put it like that.
Okay, what were some of the problems that you had? Was it weather-related, or just, what was it?
Well, we wanted to follow the rum line, and we opted to go to stronger winds outside of the rum line, and we took a risk, and we lost with that risk.
Okay, so you think you're going to take the same kind of risk with the Port Huron to Mackinaw race, or are you going to change your strategy a little bit? Why don't you answer that?
I think we'll probably take the same kind of risk.
Okay.
You know, we had a lot of conversation prior to the race in Chicago, and we decided we're going to sail a rum line race. When we got out to the race course, we decided that we're going to go for speed rather than rum line. We picked up about 2/10 of a knot by going off the rum line, and we lost about 40 miles. So we lost more than we had to gain.
So how many races have you been in?
The Port Huron races I've been in, this will be my 6th.
Okay, and how have you done in the Port Huron race in the past?
Last year I was sailing on an Olsen 40 on Polestar, and we won our division.
Oh, that's great. How about you guys? How many races have you been in?
I've been racing a couple of, just at the beginning of this year, and this is my first Chicago and first Mackinaw.
Okay, and how about you?
This will be my 3rd Port Huron race, and I've lost all 3 of them.
Okay, well, good luck on Saturday, and thanks for being with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You can see some of the spectators that are lining up along the river this evening to catch a glimpse of the boats and maybe go on some of the boats and talk to some of the sailors here this evening on Family Night. Family Night is a night that families can come out with their kids and take a look at their boats without the crowds of boat night. Not everyone who's out here on Family Night is just out to have a good time. Some people are actually working out here. Here's a look at some of the crewmen on the boat Sesame getting prepared for the race on Saturday.
Run it up here, then you can just nod off where it can be at the top when I get the bottom.
I'm on board the ship Sprint right now. Sprint was the overall winner, I believe, last year in the Port Huron to Mackinaw race. You can see the crew people are busy working right now. Let me see if I can get someone to talk to. Hang on. Right now the skipper of the boat is diving underneath the boat to clean off the bottom of the boat. So he won't be able to talk with us right now, but we'll see who we can talk to.
Somebody wants you to dive over there.
And of course these divers have to be well prepared before going under, especially making sure that there's no other boats in the area that could give them some problems.
Overhead boil up, start peeling it off up there. We have to cut it from the top. It wouldn't lay flat on the ground. So I'll just run it up here, then you can just saw it off where it should be at the top when I get the bottom line.
Can you come over for a second now? All right, well, here's one of the busy men on board the Sprint today. Can I have your name and where you're from?
My name is Rod Barton. I'm from Detroit.
Okay, and Rod, I understand this boat won the overall, was that last year, or what did it win?
This is a new boat. Same name, but a new boat this year.
Was it the same crew, though?
Yeah, most of the same crew as last year.
And it was the overall
Winner last year. Yes, it was.
Okay.
That's good.
How about some mealing up?
And on one, and two. All right.
Although family night is viewed as a night to take a look at all the festivities on the river without quite the crowd of boat night, you can see that some of the festivities going on certainly rival the boat night action.
Oh my goodness.
Dinner!
Don't waste it.
You know, there's somebody's in here.
Are we a day early? Are we a day early?
The jacuzzi.
Okay, we're standing here in the jacuzzi, actually, on the boat Pied Piper, which, of course, set a record last week in the Chicago to Mackinaw race. And we're here with the skipper, and your name?
My name's Dick Jennings from Chicago.
Okay, and how about the rest of the crew?
My name is Tom Fink. Andy McCormick.
JB Coopy.
And I'm John Kivlin.
Okay, John, all right, let's get this over so we can talk to you all. So I understand you set a record last week. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the weather conditions were right for us, and we had the right piece of equipment at the right time, so we were the lucky ones to get there first and beat the old record by about 5.5 hours.
I understand that record stood for 76 years. Quite impressive. What was the major factor? Was it the weather, or was it something that you guys did? Of course, it was something you guys did, right?
Well, we really had the right boat, and we kind of planned it. If the weather was cooperative with us, we'd have a boat to set the record, and it all worked out together and certainly came together for us last weekend.
Okay, and how many years have you been sailing?
Well, that particular race was my 27th Mackinaw race, so I've been doing it a long time.
And how many times in the Port Huron race?
Oh, I've done the Port Huron race 10 or 12 times.
And what's your finishes been like in the Port Huron race in the past?
Oh, we've been in the top 5 in our class just about every time we race.
Okay. Now, is most of this crew members constant crew members? Have you been here for, how about you? How many times have you been on this boat?
Well, I've been on this boat about 100 times in the last 2 years, but 2 years is about it for me.
Okay. So you guys have been racing just about every weekend then?
Yeah, every weekend. Yeah.
Winter and summer.
Okay. How about you?
All year.
How many times have you raced on this boat?
Well, I've raced it for the last 2 years, and I've raced the Port Huron Mackinaw race 7 years in a row. So.
And what's been your best finish in the Port Huron race?
Oh, I think we were first in class one time. Best I've done was third in class when Dick wasn't along with us. That's the best I feel the proudest about that, when we didn't have the owner of the boat along. So.
Okay, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what class this boat's in. Who is it? What other boats is it competing with?
Ooh, Good question, JB.
That's a tough one. Well, we end up sailing alone most of the time, once we get by everybody.
But not this time.
Because it's such a large boat?
Well, yeah, it's fast. It's fast. And we work hard. We work really hard to try and get out in front and do the best we can. So.
Okay, but who are...
We got some competition. We got Fastlane and Sassy coming in, and we're starting with them and racing head-to-head against them, and so that should make it for a little more excitement than last weekend. Although last weekend was by no means not exciting.
So last weekend, were there other competitors in your class?
Sassy with us, and they were right there behind us, but fortunately they were behind us.
Okay, so you set one record last week, and you think you can do another one this weekend?
Well, it's a good chance if the wind's right.
Okay.
Just got to have the
positive mental attitude.
That's what you need. Okay, well, from the jacuzzi on Pied Piper, good luck to all you guys this week, and congratulations on the record last week.
Thanks.
After a wonderful evening of cruising down the river, we're returning to the home port of the Fever 2. Many thanks to Captain David Thompson for escorting us down the river this evening.